Since the inception of this Countertop Convos, I have to say you were the first person that I wanted to do this with.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, we've had a lot of history. How many years?
I mean, 30 years. I don't know. Has it been that long?
It's well, the end of the 90s. I think it was like 96, 97, maybe.
So
When did
25 years, maybe.
Yeah, 25 years.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that we met at the Davenport Townhouses.
That's correct. Yeah, when we were building in Yorkville there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my first biggest projects, I would say. That was, 25 years ago. So, yeah.
And actually that project, about a year ago, it was actually on CP24. They showed the interior because it went
I remember that.
million over ask.
That's right.
So
I remember that.
It looks good. Yeah, you did a great job.
Yeah. And I have to say, I mean, you're one of the designers I've worked with longest. And 25 years ago, I didn't have a lot of experience. And you're amazing at your supportiveness, your encouragement. You bring, not just with me, with everyone around us, you really do an amazing job playing on people's strengths, making sure we're moving in the same direction.
Yeah, well, I mean, to work with you, Louie, though, I mean, your attention to detail, your design sense, I mean, it's been an absolute joy.
Thank you.
Yeah, like how many projects we've done together, it's I don't even know.
It's hard to count, honestly, over 25 years. I mean, some have been longer projects, some have been shorter projects. We finished the one wall unit recently for a bedroom. So yeah, I mean, we basically cater to our clients' needs and have to adapt to what's required.
Oh yeah, and every project is different.
Talk to us a little bit about how you got started, your company, and what your focus is.
Well, I've been in it for quite a few years now. Graduated with honors at Ryerson for interior design, and got into mainly residential. But then what happened was, as you kind of develop a relationship with clients, then they say, well, come to the office. We're going to build a cottage. We're going to, do a condo down in Florida. So I've had lots of different, locations, and it's been actually fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. And your company's Environment by Design. What's the website and what's the Instagram handle?
So environmentbydesign.ca is the website, and Christine Hains, Hains, is my Instagram.
Awesome. Yeah, so check that out. There's some awesome stuff there.
Yeah. So I've also had a lot of experience with building because my husband and I, we were a design build team. And so a lot of information kind of along the way and experience with that. And that's really helped.
Yeah, a lot of exposure to everything from foundation to interiors to roofing, the works. And really you're in a unique vantage point where your focus is a whole, like it's the entire project that you can manage and offer input on, especially when you have a great contractor, but a client who isn't so knowledgeable about all the different aspects. You can jump in and kind of help them make decisions and make the process a little easier.
Now, I always work with the contractor that the client has selected. I also work with architects in the design process along the way. So from layout, planning, design, finishes, lighting, everything.
Yeah, and not every interior designer gets into that much detail. That's why you have a lot of clients that keep coming back. Our main topic of conversation today, I wanted to really spend our time mostly on is cottages. You're really an expert in that field. You have clients who have city homes and cottages, and that's been an easy transition for you to help with the cottages. You've been doing it for years. So I want to jump into 2 cottage projects that you've worked on. But first I want to start with a project in Rosedale we did, which is was a townhouse that a client hired you to kind of update. It was very tired, and it was a full renovation.
It was a full gut. Yeah. Full gut. And the client has, they wanted kind of that old world in combination with modern, kind of elegant. We wanted to incorporate wood wood coffered ceilings we did, and wood trim. Louis, the cabinets that you guys did just came out so fantastic. And the other challenge that we had was in that kitchen, you can see there was no garden. And my client, really wanted a garden, but we had this garage wall, which we clad in stone. We did a fireplace, pizza oven.
There's a pizza oven.
And so, I was thinking that to incorporate a backsplash that had some kind of trees and flowers and birds would kind of give them that outside kind of feel inside. And we continued that, the stone floor, you can see how it goes right in through to the back.
Right outside, that's the same
Yeah.
floor.
So the backsplash we did was by Suzanne Pratt of Venetian Studios. She did an absolutely fabulous job because we have slab glass, and then she did back painted. It's called Bear Eagle Mosaic, a real mouthful.
Yeah.
You can see some of the birds have some extra details in there, and absolutely fabulous. It came out wonderful.
The hands down, not an understatement at all, the most special backsplash I've ever seen in my career.
Yes, absolutely.
You don't see like something like this every day at all.
What she did too, is she did full-size templates in paper to show the design, how it would go. You can see the windows above those floating cabinets, the uppers. So we had to kind of work all the little pieces and have the trees continue. It was absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, it even carried through, I believe, to the bathroom, right? She did this mirror.
Yes. All the mirroring actually she did was silver leaf.
Silver leaf,
So
yeah.
she just started with regular glass, and then she did her design, and absolutely wonderful.
And then here's the bathroom with a built-in sauna. This also features that ceiling paneling we did on the main floor, a tub skirting cabinetry, and there's the ceiling detail. So we did that panel.
Yeah, you guys did that amazing job of that.
Yeah, and I was really happy with how that turned out.
Yeah.
And then we have another bathroom here we did. This is off the kitchen, the main floor built-ins, that ceiling paneling. You know, I guess it's hard to tell here, but the flooring and the ceiling paneling and all the woodwork were pretty much a close match, right? So that had a really nice.
The flooring was a lot lighter, but it spoke to each other because they were both oak, right?
For a rather small footprint between having the consistency and color, the flow to the backyard, it was such a huge transformation. Start to finish, how long did that project take?
About a year and a half. There was a lot of detail.
Was it 6 or 8 months of on-site work?
About a year and a half, to be honest.
Oh, a year and a half. Okay. Wow. That's what it takes sometimes to make sure everything's perfect. You get all those notes right. The backsplash, I'm sure, took a lot of time as well. So let's jump into a cottage.
I worked on this project with Harry Lay, the architect. When one of the things that the client wanted was they didn't want any drywall. So the project was to have wood walls, and they wanted a nickel gap, which is like a shiplap. But what we worked with was a flooring company. And I worked together with the owner, Chris Martin from Horizon or Ready Pine. Some of the areas we used, even the ceilings were all clad with wood, but we either did painted finish in some of the bathrooms. You can see there was a painted finish on the walls. And then the main areas throughout the living spaces in the living room, and we did stained pine.
It's really such an amazing feel, this cottage. It's truly rustic, and it just envelops you. Right.
The other thing that the clients, actually a couple of things that were they wanted minimal pot lights. They wanted surface mounted lighting. As you can see in the kitchen, we had just those little, small little retro. This was kind of a funky retro designed cottage. And the other thing that my client wanted, she wanted a pale green, like that retro green kitchen. So that's what we worked with, and we did the back boards in the open cabinets. We did in the stained to match the island. And these slabs that we used were a granite, but we had them leathered. So when you leather a product that has a combination of quartz, and you get this kind of troughing, this kind of very interesting texture to it.
I do love this technique. You kind of see it, the pitting and It basically digs into the soft areas of the stone, creating a texture.
And the other thing too, I wanted to do, you can see there in that photograph very well, the bar sink, you can see the thickness of the stone was 3/4,
Right.
but I wanted that island to have a kind of a nice girthiness to it. So we built up the edge, they just mitered it, but they continued with the graining.
Yeah.
So almost like they folded it.
It did
Yeah,
such a great job. You can see that veining patterning continue here,
yes,
continue
yeah,
here. Really, really amazing job. And, I think I personally love the feel of a leathered countertop.
yes,
Right? It's just smooth and
yeah.
textured. Is there any issues with
Cottage.
maintenance? It's a
Yeah,
cottage, yeah.
yeah, perfect. Oh, this was a, actually it was a granite.
Yeah.
Um, Natural quartz is also really great for that. Very sturdy and durable.
Yeah, these are my photos. This where you could see the flagstone floor.
Yeah, and that went right through, down the hall and into the master bathroom and powder room.
It's a beautiful floor. I love it. And you can see the
Yeah,
hallway here with the pine.
yeah,
It's a perfect cottage. It's just
yeah. And I don't think in that photograph you can see one of the things that I wanted to bring into this project was I wanted that old shiny ceiling, very high, like lacquered kind of strong color. When you look up, it's like a sky. It's very retro.
and it
So
ties into the counter on the island. It pulls that
yeah,
color in.
well, it was a little more blue, but yes, yes.
Yeah. And I think the backside is right here.
There you go.
So this is
There you go.
the dining room.
Yes, and so are you looking now through to the kitchen, but you guys did the cabinets on the uppers showing through, and you can see how we had to install the counter first, and then the cabinets went in after.
Your clients have been awesome, and obviously they trust you. And I think that makes a big difference when clients trust the interior designer to kind of see the project through. It just makes it easier for everyone
Oh
involved.
yeah, actually, I had one time I had a client gave me a deposit gave me, see, here's 25,000, here's the keys, 4 months we're moving in, surprise us, and this is what our budget is, whatever. Like it was amazing.
That
They
is,
didn't come into like they would just, I had worked with them before, so they knew. So that was a lot of fun to have, but a lot of pressure too.
yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to deliver, you want to make it special.
Yeah.
And, sometimes when clients leave it up to you, you do get a little anxious, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
But I
ooh,
always take every project like it's my own. Like I always care about the end result, the clients, everything, that everybody is happy.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I have the same thinking. At the end of the day, client has to be happy and thrilled with the end
Oh
result.
yeah. And they are with you. Oh my God.
Oh.
Everybody. I actually had a client that every time you would show up, she'd go and brush her hair and put her lipstick on. He's coming.
That's too funny.
It's true.
I'm turning red here.
Oh, he's coming.
Oh man. You make it fun. It's relaxed. It's always a good time, but we're getting some serious work done too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So let's jump into Sparrow Lake here.
I actually worked with Harry Lay on their home, and then they had this cottage that they bought, and they were kind of toying whether they were going to renovate, and then they decided to do a new build. The property is on a point, so they have vistas on two sides. So that was really important when we were designing the space to make sure that they could, we had nice windows on both sides of the project. And again, no drywall. It always had to be the wood. So we used the Ready Pine again for all the walls and the tongue and groove for the ceilings. We did a combination of the stained wood in some of the areas. The black window seems to be kind of a thing that started happening about 10 years ago. And again, that kind of retro, earthy retro kind of feel.
Yeah, you can see them everywhere. And
Yeah,
here's that blue ceiling you were
there's that
talking about.
ceiling, yeah.
Yeah.
There's that strong colored ceiling. You can't see the backsplash in the laundry area. We had a very funky tile that we picked up on one of the colors there.
Right.
So, and you can see the door and we had reeded glass, but again, a kind of a retro feel.
Right.
So you have some obscurity, but it was down a hall. I didn't want to, when the door was shut or the laundry was going, I didn't want the light to be impeded on the hall area. So I wanted that glass.
Yeah, you got that nice window in the background, so that reeded glass allows that light to
Yeah.
come through.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
And again, it looks like no pod lights. Well, a couple there, but a lot
Oh
of
no, there are pot lights, but we kind of, brought in the old style. So this, I love this stone. This
yeah. What
stone
is this?
is Patagonia. It's a quartz material, and you can see there how it actually looks like a, a painting, but that's actually natural stone. It's wild.
Wow.
It was our focus. It was the island was about 9 by almost 5. Very, very big island. In fact, we bought the slab and then we designed the island around the slab. And I wanted to make sure again that we had that folded edge to give it that girthiness. The side counters, the L-shaped counters around the outside of the across from the island, I just went with a leathered Cambrian black granite, which is Canadian stone, and just to kind of pick up on the black. But the feature was this island,
Right.
and gives it some lightness.
And how did you source something like that?
Well, I went to the slab houses. We actually got it at Seat, and you walk through the aisles of the different stones, and they bring the machines and they lift them up for you, and it's amazing. It's actually a real treat to do that. And that's kind of where I usually start with my kitchen. If you want to have a focal point, you need to get your actual piece, tag it, buy it, get it set aside, and then work from there.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point. In terms of where do you begin with designing a kitchen, you really have to start somewhere. In this case, you start with the slab. Some cases it could be the flooring, the other details in the space, but you really need that point of inspiration to
Yeah,
begin,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And when you're using natural stone, that's a great way to draw from that because every piece of stone is different,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
The Patagonia available today may look completely different to
Oh
what's
yeah.
there. So it's beautiful. I mean, I'm sure the clients are thrilled. This project
Oh,
was
it's great.
completed when?
It completed about 2 years ago. It was about a year and a half to build. I mean, you're always when you're working up north, you're hauling material, oftentimes from Toronto. It just the process, it takes longer. And then also, the weather
Right.
is also a factor, right? So, building during the winter, it's not always easy to get into these
Roads.
small,
Yeah.
and they also have, you can't, no heavy trucks until around the first week of May until the frost is right out. Otherwise, it damages the road. So it does, you have to kind of factor that in, but it's fun along the way.
It's also another reason why you're so specialized in cottages. I mean, you even know the heavy truck rule, right? A lot of people getting into cottages, and I think this pandemic has pushed a lot of people into that direction.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like building in the city.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right now, I'm working on a project on uh, Baptiste Lake again with Harry Lay, and that started. I guess we're going to be about 2 years for that one.
Wow.
Yeah. So now the cabinets are starting to go in, and the finishings are starting to happen, which is really exciting. I was there last week, and it's really great. Another one that I've been working on for the last year is on Eagle Lake. And so the clients have actually moved in about 3-4 weeks ago. But the contractor's still working away on certain details, the pantry and this and that.
Right.
And
Little things.
yeah, but yeah, it just takes time.
Do you have any advice for people that may be looking to purchase a cottage that needs either renovations or they're planning to do a custom build?
Renos are always scary because you never really know until you start ripping it out what's behind. I've run into situations before where when a renovation started, there was water and mold had started getting it, into behind and up in the ceiling here. So it was just, sometimes it costs you more to do that kind of a renovation than take down and build new.
Right. And the process is harder. It's more unpredictable. You can't know the length of time sometimes in a reno with those surprises, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So new build is easier in terms of being able to plan in advance, get all your ducks in a row, and then start and just systematically go to completion.
Yeah. For Sparrow Lake, the old cottage that was there had some wonderful elements that we wanted to kind of bring back to the new cottage, and that was the wood. that was why. They just loved the original wood in the cottage. So that was kind of the starting point. They didn't want it to look like a brand new cottage.
Right. Now, you mentioned, I think for the Jack Lake and Sparrow Lake, in both projects, you didn't use drywall, just the wood. So I'm curious, why wouldn't it be something like you do the drywall and then you clad the walls in the wood? Why wouldn't that be the way that it happens?
It would be framed, it would be insulated, and then vapor barrier and all that, and then the wood would go on top.
It's definitely a beautiful detail. I mean, it again creates that warmth, that
Yeah.
enveloping feel, and looks very truly cottagey for sure.
Yeah, and you need to get good tradespeople too to work it out.
And they completed it 2 years ago, just before the pandemic started. So they got really lucky.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They've been enjoying it. I mean, we're still, a few times they'll send me, oh, what do you think of this? Or, and adding a little bit of furniture or whatever. But
so
and that stonework, one of the things that the local stone has a lot of pink in it. And that was one thing I was very adamant, no pink in that stone fireplace. And they got it absolutely right with it, more of a copper and the grays. It came out fantastic.
It's beautiful. And is that a slab mantle of stone?
Yes.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, and then they used the Mumford fireplace, very shallow, tall fireplace, and had very good tradespeople that and the custom doors that they put in there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was in a cottage, a friend of mine earlier last month, and they had a wood burning fireplace, and it's a lot to maintain, from carrying the wood to lighting the fireplace, and there's an ambiance it creates. But I don't think that you put gas fireplaces in any of these. They're all wood burning. But isn't it so much easier to use gas to heat the place?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing like it. The crackle, the smell. I've also had a situation one time that a client put a gas fireplace in it, and they never turned it on because it was so hot.
Right. Cottages are definitely a booming business. What do you think the future holds for cottages and cottage?
Oh my gosh, real estate up north has absolutely skyrocketed, and to get anything that's on water, is even more difficult, right?
Do you think it's going to change? Do you think that there's no turning back now? Everyone has their sights on cottages, or when this pandemic passes, are people going to be traveling more and doing less cottaging?
I think people are dying to travel, but there's nothing like going up and being part of nature. Now with the internet, you can be anywhere, you can work. So what I'm finding is that the cottages, there's a dedicated office now, sometimes even an exercise room, so that they can live there all year round.
Yeah. And that wasn't something that was a concept before, putting an exercise room at a cottage.
No.
So you mentioned nature and how it's really becoming an influence. How do you find that it's influenced your work, even in the city, or do you find that more environmentally friendly products are being considered, more environmental impacts are being considered?
I would say, I think that's definitely something that people have more in their mind. With LED lighting, for example, we're now, you're not, throwing out light bulbs every 6 months with a halogen. Everybody's doing the LEDs.
I was at a kitchen yesterday, and the contractor had mixed up halogen and LED in the ceiling. It was kind of a little weird, but the LED light was much crisper, richer, made the space feel bigger, where that old halogen has a bit of a yellow tint to it.
Well, you can get, even with the LEDs, you can get different kinds of light. You can get the warmer white or the cooler white. So, I mean, it's made a big difference from the old fluorescent lights that we used to put, our counters.
I heard in the pandemic a phrase from clients multiple times. It's cottage in the backyard. Now, with the price of cottages increasing and maybe out of reach for a lot of people, Is that something you're seeing more of? People wanting to kind of extend that cottage feel into the backyard?
Yeah, I think it's going even from from kitchen to outdoor spaces, like outdoor kitchens. Are you doing outdoor kitchens as well?
More requests for
Yeah,
outdoor kitchens, but
yeah,
outdoor kitchens tend to be modular, stainless steel cabinets, some
yeah,
stone.
that's right.
It
Yeah.
really depends. So anything else you want to mention about cottages? Any of the tips or anything else?
We're kind of going from kind of a rustic Vaud to Scandinavian minimalist to modern farmhouse, all different kinds of cottages. I mean, everybody has their own kind of signature when, it doesn't look, it's not a cookie cutter kind of thing, but definitely more relaxed than a city home. You have to be cognizant too of the function and practicality
Right.
of finishes and layout and safety.
Yeah. Yeah. That was one thing you'd mentioned. You really focus on the safety of a project, especially when young kids are involved, making
Oh
sure
yeah,
it's easy to
yeah,
use. You know,
yeah.
one thing we've seen is in the last 3, 4 years, we're using a lot of materials that are kind of replicas of wood. So the melamine products that have a texture to them and have a really lifelike wood feel. Um, you know, that combined with engineered stone on the counters. There's a
Yes,
lot of kind of recycled content going into these man-made products.
I know.
Quite versatile and flexible, giving you a lot more options. But there are new products that come out monthly at this point. So
Yes. Well, actually, I was quite interested. For example, Caesar stone, the quartz, man-made quartz material.
yeah,
One of the things that was always, you had one finish. It was a kind of shiny, polished, smooth finish. But now they have a few colors. Have you seen the new colors?
yeah, yeah,
And they have that kind of home stone feel.
yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. They actually brought 2 new products a few weeks back to our showroom and placed a blue outdoor sticker on them. So I think it's designed
Okay.
to go outside
For
and it
outdoor
has
kitchens and
that
so on.
matte finish on it. They're quite lovely.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah. So I think they're realizing that outdoor spaces are more focused on and there's more demand for that now. So
well, thank you for having me. I
it was a
really,
pleasure, Christine. It's always a pleasure.
oh,
You're
listen,
such a
thanks.
joy to work with and you're an
Oh,
awesome person. And,
ditto,
it's
ditto.
been an awesome career for us together and the projects we've done and the people we've made happy. And
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. You
thank
can
you.
find Christine on her Instagram, which is again,
Christine Hains, lowercase, all one word. Hains, Hains, no E.
and
And
environmentbydesign.ca.
that's correct.
Awesome. And if you're out there looking to build or renovate a cottage, Christine is a great resource to reach out to. I encourage that highly.
Oh, thanks, Louis.
Christine, take care
Okay.
and hopefully see you in person soon.
You. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.